What was supposed to happen on that last play? I know you said you didn't get the look and shot you wanted.
No, we executed. Like I said, I feel like I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you have to ask Luka what he saw on that, but I thought he had a good look, and it looked like he kind of just lost his balance.
The Lakers just dropped a gut punch loss to the Orlando Magic. Final score, 110-109. One single point. And here's where it gets truly remarkable. LeBron James called for the ball, stepped to the free throw line and missed, then launched a brick on the game-tying attempt. And somehow, Luka Doncic ended up wearing the blame. The sheer audacity of that narrative is something else entirely. The fan base is scrambling hard in damage control mode right now, and the numbers are about to lay everything bare. Who do you genuinely believe cost the Lakers this game against the Magic? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. Now let's get straight into it, because there is a mountain of evidence here, and not a single piece of it is going to sit well with LeBron's most devoted supporters.
Start at the end in LA. Magic take the lead in the fourth. Lakers have 7 seconds left after a timeout. Final play goes to Luka, who pump fakes it and then gives it to LeBron. LeBron's like, what am I supposed to do with it? Shoots a turnaround three-pointer that misses.
The final scoreboard read Magic 110, Lakers 109. The Orlando Magic, a short-handed squad that was forced to lean heavily on Jonathan Isaac and Javon Carter for meaningful minutes. A team that was getting torched defensively in the first half and was still somehow only trailing by 3 points at the break. The Magic posted a plus 240 halftime rating. Let that number actually sink in for a moment. Plus 240. And despite all of that, the Lakers still surrendered the lead in the closing seconds. But rather than face what actually happened, LeBron James walked up to that microphone and did exactly what he tends to do when things fall apart. He redirected the focus. This time, Luka Doncic became the target. Now, let's be absolutely precise about the sequence of events, because the facts here require zero interpretation. With 5 seconds remaining in a one-point contest, Luka held the basketball. LeBron James called for it. LeBron James received it. And then LeBron James missed the shot. That is the timeline. That is the documented reality. There is video. There's no alternative version of this story. Yet after the final buzzer, here's what LeBron had to say about that pass from Luka.
What was supposed to happen on that last play? I know you said you didn't get the look and shot you wanted.
No, we executed. Like I said, I feel like I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you have to ask Luka what he saw on that, but I thought he had a good look, and it looked like he kind of just lost his balance. Didn't have a rhythm with the ball, whatever the case may be, and it kind of allowed him to get back in front of him. I was kind of off balance when he gave it to me. I thought he had a great look, but that's what I looked. That's my POV.
LeBron told reporters he was off balance at the moment he caught the pass. He stated that Luka appeared to have a strong look before deciding to give it up. And from his perspective, Luka had lost his balance and his rhythm just before releasing the ball.
What did you see on that final offensive possession?
I thought we had a good opportunity. Luka came off clean, and I think he, felt off balance. But we executed. We didn't get the shot that we wanted. We did execute it, and just didn't go down.
That was the exact term he chose, off balance. Except the video tells an entirely different story. When LeBron caught that basketball, he was not stumbling or scrambling to recover. He looked composed. He looked locked in. He looked every bit like a player who had deliberately demanded the ball in that critical moment because he wanted to be the one pulling the trigger. And then he missed. And then he stood in front of a microphone and questioned Luka's decision-making.
7 for 11 from the field, and he can't knock it down. 2-point game. Backfire into the lane. Bane, open three. Bane knocks down a three.
The level of mental gymnastics required to watch that play unfold and arrive at the conclusion that Luka Doncic is the problem is genuinely something to behold. Not admirably so, but remarkable nonetheless. And here is what makes this even more difficult to digest for the fanboy community. The very same people currently flooding social media to blame Luka for passing the ball are the identical people who, every time LeBron declines a shot in a clutch situation, rush to defend him by saying he always makes the right basketball play, that he is selfless, that he empowers his teammates, and that true basketball IQ goes far beyond simply demanding the ball.
Luka with 5 seconds. Luka, LeBron for the win.
So the logic being applied goes something like this. When LeBron passes in a big moment, it is brilliant decision-making. But when Luka passes directly to LeBron, who specifically and loudly called for the ball, it becomes Luka's fault the possession failed. Take a moment to fully absorb how deeply contradictory that reasoning actually is. And while we're already here, let's pivot to another moment that the fanboy community has quietly chosen to forget. LeBron James at the free throw line. Because before that missed game-tying attempt, there was a separate pivotal moment that deserves full attention. LeBron stepped to the line in a critical situation and converted just one of two attempts. One of two. That missed free throw was the shot that could have pushed this game to overtime. Not Luka's pass. Not Luka's judgment. A missed free throw from a man who has logged enough years in this league to have had a documentary produced about him while he was still in high school. In that final sequence, LeBron James had two distinct opportunities to be the deciding factor: the free throw and the shot. He made 1 out of 2 at the line and then misfired on the jumper. 2 chances, 1 conversion, and Luka Doncic is absorbing the criticism. Now let's move into the data, because this is where the argument becomes completely airtight regardless of how deeply you admire LeBron James as a basketball player. Brian Windhorst, a reporter not exactly recognized for taking shots at LeBron, laid the numbers out plainly. When Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves share the floor together without LeBron, the Lakers function as an elite unit. The moment all 3 of them are out there simultaneously, the Lakers rank among the worst defensive teams in the entire league. The gap between those two realities is 20 points per 100 possessions. 20 points. That is not a statistical blip. That is not random variation. That is a massive, consistent, undeniable signal that something real is happening when LeBron occupies the floor alongside those 2 players. Without LeBron in that specific lineup with Reeves and Luka, the Lakers sit at plus 18. Plus 18. Those numbers carry no agenda. They do not factor in legacy, championship rings, or finals appearances. Plus 18 without him. That is what the data says. And before any fanboy reaches for the small sample size explanation or the load management excuse, understand that Windhorst has built his career covering LeBron James closely and has consistently been one of the most LeBron-sympathetic voices in all of sports media. When even that voice places these numbers on the table and acknowledges that the data is simply the data, there is no remaining shelter. The logical conclusion drawn from those figures is one that fanboys refuse to say out loud. LeBron James needs to come off the bench. Not because his career is finished, not because he is a liability, but because the lineup that genuinely works for this Lakers team does not feature him as a starter alongside Luka and Reeves. The evidence is sitting right there, clearly identifying both the problem and the path forward. Now let's actually walk through the game itself, because there were storylines unfolding throughout this one that go well beyond the final possession. The Magic were genuinely struggling in that first half. Desmond Bane was not finding his rhythm. Paolo Banchero was not connecting. Wendell Carter was the only consistent offensive force, and the Lakers' defense was making things uncomfortable. They held Orlando to 14% from three-point range in the first half and 41% from the floor overall. Those are real quality defensive numbers. The energy was present. The focus was present. DeAndre Ayton arguably turned in the strongest half of his entire time in a Lakers uniform. Every time a smaller defender got switched onto him, he made them pay. He was establishing position in the post, he was finishing at the rim, and he was doing precisely what a player of his size and skill level should do when the matchup favors him. The Lakers kept running plays through him, and it was clearly working. But even inside that encouraging first half, the warning signs were already visible. LeBron finished the first 2 quarters with 12 points, while DeAndre Ayton led the team in scoring. And anyone who has watched enough Lakers basketball over the years knows exactly what tends to happen next. When LeBron is not the engine driving what is working, the team drifts away from what is working and begins funneling the offense back through LeBron in the second half. They pulled the ball away from Ayton. They stopped attacking the favorable matchups that were right there to be exploited. And the Magic made their halftime corrections. Banchero came out of the locker room in the third quarter as an entirely different player. One nobody on the Lakers sideline appeared ready to contain. 17 points, 6 of 7 from the field. Banchero sees complete control of the game, elevated his entire team on his back despite a depleted supporting cast, and imposed his will on the Lakers defense with no resistance. And while that was unfolding, LeBron James contributed exactly 2 points in the entire third quarter. 2, as Austin Reeves had to shoulder 10 points just to keep the Lakers within striking distance. Then the fourth quarter arrived, and Desmond Bane made it known he was not leaving without a victory. 12 points, 5 of 7 from the floor, 5 assists in the final frame alone. Bane was operating wherever he pleased against the Lakers defense, and nobody had an answer. And while Bane was carving through that defense, cameras captured LeBron standing and watching as Jonathan Isaac converted an uncontested dunk due to a complete breakdown on his defensive assignment. The referees tried to intervene on the Lakers' behalf. They issued a foul call that the Lakers challenged, only for the review to reverse it because Luka's leg kick had made it a non-shooting foul. The league still gifted LeBron a trip to the free throw line in a decisive moment, and he still went 1 of 2. Wendell Carter wrapped up the night with 20 points and 11 rebounds. Banchero finished with 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. Bane posted 22 points with 6 assists, 5 of those assists arriving in the fourth quarter when it mattered most. Orlando came in shorthanded and walked out of Los Angeles with a 1-point road win against a Lakers team that had every opportunity to close the door and chose not to. And now the public narrative being constructed is that the story of this loss is Luka Doncic making a flawed decision with 5 seconds left on the clock. LeBron James has exactly 1 game-winning shot to his name as a Laker. 1, a tip-in against the Indiana Pacers. That is the complete clutch resume in Los Angeles. 1 tip-it, and yet the story being promoted by the fanboy community frames this as a proven clutch performer who was let down by the younger player beside him. Luka Doncic saw his teammate signaling for the basketball. He delivered it directly to the man who asked for it. The man who asked for it missed the shot. And that same man then stepped to a microphone and implied that the pass itself was the issue. At no point in that sequence did Luka force a bad outcome. At no point did Luka exercise poor judgment. He handed the ball to his teammate who demanded it. What exactly was he supposed to do instead? The fanboys will respond that Luka should have taken the shot himself. Perhaps. But those same fanboys would have spent the entire night labeling Luka as selfish and reckless for ignoring his teammate if he had fired and missed. There is no outcome in which Luka is permitted to be correct in their eyes, because the actual issue has nothing to do with the final 5 seconds. The real issue is the 20-point differential embedded in the data that nobody wants to confront honestly. The Lakers perform at a significantly higher level when LeBron is not sharing the floor in that specific combination. That is not a criticism rooted in disrespect. That is not an agenda. That is simply what the numbers communicate consistently over a meaningful sample of games. And until the organization summons the willingness to have that honest conversation about roles and responsibilities, nights exactly like this one against the Orlando Magic are going to keep arriving on schedule. 1 possession losses where accountability gets deflected instead of accepted. Wendell Carter brought the building to its feet. The Magic completed the upset, and LeBron James stood at that microphone and described feeling off balance on a pass he personally and specifically called for. The numbers are right there in plain sight. The video is right there. The missed free throw is right there. The brick shot is right there. Every single piece of evidence is sitting in the open, waiting for anyone willing to look at it honestly. LeBron called for the ball, missed a free throw, misfired on the shot, and then redirected the blame toward Luka. The data supports everything you just heard, and the fanboys have absolutely nothing left to stand behind.